Alrighty, this is a question for Rainbow Sword. Quickly, the question idea is you're going to have an input. The input, you can think just characters. You're going to have R stands for red, and B for blue, and G for green. This is your input. You can think is a char array. And the question wants you to sort this array into like this. So all the same colors are grouped together in the sequence as a red, blue, and green. Additional requirement is you have to do this in place. So we talked about this in our class. So on high level, let's quickly go through that. So the idea is 3 pointers. You want to have 3 pointers IGK initialized at the beginning and at the end. Physical meaning for these pointers from 0 to I. We want this to record all the red color, and also for K to the end. I'm just using end, but you know that's the end of the array. I want that to record all the green color, right? And also starting from I to J, I want that to store all the blue color, and they're gonna left from J to K. So those are all the elements to be processed. Okay, so that is step 1, initialization of the pointers, and also the physical meaning of the pointers, and then of course how you're going to move the pointers. So we talked about those in my class clearly. So this is hopefully kind of review you one more time. So starting from here, going back to the rules on how to move the pointers. So for this example, let's just take this example. Since J to K are the elements so far to be processed. So let's look at J. So now J, if J is pointing a R for here, what should we do? So you see that 0 to I gonna include all the R, but I is non-inclusive, exclusive. So when J is pointing R, what we want to do is we really need to make the R or put the R within this range. And I didn't mention, but you should already see that this means non-inclusive and this means inclusive. So here, so if J, I'm just using pseudo for now. If the char of the J is equals to what? Equals to R. For this example, what we want to do is, we want to switch the pointer, the character where J is pointing at, to the character where the pointer I is pointing at, and then I plus plus, and also meanwhile J plus plus, right? So with that, what we do is, swap I and J, and then what? I plus plus, J plus plus. So what happened after that? Let me just, okay, so I make a new line. So starting here, let's see the results. So I and J gonna swap, that's still gonna be the R, and I plus plus, J plus plus, right? That's clear, right? And then J points to B. J points to B, we want to place the B in this slot, I to J, I inclusive, J not inclusive. Well, that's simple, right? So if char J is equals to which folk? B. All right, I'm gonna using else if, because like that. And then what we want to do is a J plus plus. So here, this guy J is going into here. So you see that J not inclusive, it should store the B. Exactly. Right. What's next? Now, J is pointing at G. Suppose the G we should place into K to the end, right? So that is supposed to be to see the G there's. But you can hold, there's a 2 ways. I mean, once J point to G, basically you want to swap this G with the character K is pointing at, right? And then K minus minus G plus plus, you can do that. Or you can visit what the character the K is pointing at, which is R, and you know where R is putting at, right? Should you putting onto 0 to R, I, you can also swap with I and do as accordingly. But simply, let's do this. Else, So the else is when char j, excuse me, is pointing at G, right? I mean, there's only 3 situations, but you also have to handle the corner cases where there's only those 3 color, rainbow color, 3 color sorting. I mean, corner cases could be just 1 color. You do not need to do anything, or there could be 2 colors. We're gonna capture those corner cases also. Now going back, else, if the pointer J is pointing at G, what should I do is we're gonna swap where J is pointing at and a pointer K is pointing at, and then what? And then J plus plus, and then what? K minus minus. Well, that I think pretty sure that's a rule we're gonna handle, right? And also based on the logic here, clearly we can stop this algorithm when what? When I greater than K, sorry, J greater than K, because J to K includes all the elements non-processed, which means with J is greater than K, well, you finish the work. All right, simply enough. Let's code it out. And let's name our methods. Let's just call sort. And like I said, the input is char array. Okay, so and with that, you're gonna have input, and then you're gonna do that in place. That's why you don't need to return anything. You're gonna use the same reference to show the answer is correct. Okay, so like I said, so there's some corner cases, some sanity check, right? So if, oh, just sanity check. So if array equals now, or array length is less than 2, well, do we need to do anything? I don't think so, right? And then we're gonna go to the main logic. So like that, we're gonna have I equals to 0, J equals to 0, and then IGK, right? K equals array length minus by 1, right? So now into into the rules to move the pointers, as we already know, the condition we can kick it out of this algorithm. So you can go ahead using a while loop. So while what? While J, you know what? Still less or equal than K. I mean, just have fun, right? So, and start from here. And what we want to do is basically this, all right? So let's do that. If the array at the J, right, equals to what? Let's assume that the input are, uppercase R, G, B, right? So let's don't worry about other situations for now. So if this guy is equals to R, okay, let's say I just the logic I just write over there. We're gonna swap. So we're gonna offer a helper class to handle the swap. So basically I plus plus and J plus plus, and then else if array J. I mean, to make it easier, simpler, I mean, you first can capture what is the character where the pointer J is pointing at, right? And so you don't have to write array J's every single time, right? So like that also work. So if C, I mean, better using naming, which is self-descriptive, so other people can handle, can read without people standing there explaining. So try to do better in terms of naming. All right. So where are we? So if C equals B, what need to do? Just go ahead, just move it, right? And else. So this else, which means the character C is a green. Then we're gonna swap array where the pointer J is at and K is at. And then what? J plus plus or K minus minus. Clearly you can do better. And you see that for all the 3 conditions, no matter what, you had to grow the J, right? You see that? So which means it's looking not perfect. So what you can do is just move the J plus plus outside, because no matter what, you're gonna move the J, right? And after that, pretty much you drop this condition, this else if, right? So pretty much what you can do is and change here to else if C equals G, right? And then remove all the G++, like what I'm doing right now, and put this guy G++. Hopefully that makes sense. All right. After that, pretty much you move the stuff where it's supposed to be at, and you need to deliver this helper class. So let me quickly do that. You can just name as private because not other people want interested with that. So char array int j. I'm interested in left and int r. Right. Okay, so using a temp to capture what is L is at, and then array L going to be assigned with array R, and array R going to be assigned with what you want to be assigned. Okay, so basic swap, very simple. Now going back, so clearly when you exit out this while loop, what are you going to do? That's it, right? So, and in order we can see the results. Let me have we have a main function. So let's just write several corner cases. Let's test it. And in the following video or sessions, I'm going to show you guys how to do unit test in a better way. But for now, let's just bear with it. All right. Let's first having this one, right? That's what I kind of gave you. Let's copy. And let's have an array. Like that. So that's a lot of wash and bottle work. Let me do that. All right. How you guys doing? Why I'm doing that? I'm gonna do for the weekend. I'm pretty sure what am I going to do after this? All right, so just for this as example, right? So since I'm going to show you guys anyway how to do better unit test later on, so stay tuned, subscribe, please. All right, so and then let's quickly have objects for this class. New, all right, and call it. Our what's our name again? Our name is Sword. What is a nice name? Sword. Let's give you an array. Okay, so let's print it out, right? Since what do you do? So let's call this static print. All right. Print array. And a static. Oh, what am I doing? Print array. And all right, so in such a sense we can see it, right? Okay, so let's deliver the print array. Okay, how about that? Let's print it out. So pretty much a simple for loop. I equals 0. There's a better way, but since we are starting my class, so let's just using just a very simple way to print out the array, everything in that list, and right, system out print array I. Okay, let's give what? All right. Okay. After that, let's just go to another one. Okay. All right, so let's check our algorithm, shall we? Let's name this everyone because otherwise we're gonna have another user cases very, very soon. Okay, so let's test it. Okay, so you see that the first line is supposed to input and the second line is after grouping. That's exactly what we want. Beautiful, right? So let's check in other user cases. For example, you know what? Let's get rid of the G. There's no green for some reason. So now let's see if our algorithm can still handle. Voila, we have it. All right, so red and blue, no green. Now, what about all red? I mean, there's no point, to be honest, test this because it's definitely gonna be right. But don't get me wrong, I'm just saying for some user cases, it's a good habit for you guys to think of corner cases. All right. So after you deliver them in logic, think about it, whether or not there's something you haven't captured yet. This is also very important for some scenario for use code server. Since we are having class right now, it's really, let's just build up the bits. All right, folks, hopefully enjoy the review for Rainbow Sword. Okay, so let me quickly walk through. This is behind my class topic 2 pointers or 3 pointers, basically to using the pointers to define the physical meaning clearly and define the rules on how to move the pointers. So we can have a lot of very interesting instances. As you can see for this example, Rainbow Sword. Beside, we also have sliding window and the other instances, which is covered in my class. And going back to logic, so you see we have the initialization, and then we have this physical meaning, like I mentioned, clearly for the physical meanings. You should define that. And as this is the rules, all right? And this is literally just translated into Java code. So that's why we have it. And we have several use cases tested. It's just beautiful. All right, folks, I would end here and see you guys around. So please subscribe if you're interested with my channel. All right.